Okay, it's working. Now this is the video I wanted to do. I made an earlier video about psychological ethics, and for some reason I left my notes up at the house, but I know roughly what I want to talk about, and this is related more to spiritual, religious issues, which previous videos I made on making the link between criticising, the idea of absurd psychotherapy, this cult of the self dominating modern life. And biblically speaking, it's implicated in the idea of end times. For example, this is in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly in that the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. And in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1, this know also that in the last times perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous boasters, proud blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful and unholy. And it goes on verse 15, and that from a child thou hast known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Jesus Christ. All Scripture is given by inspiration of God, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. So these themes in 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy relate to the things I've talked about in terms of this obsession in mental health industry of the self, of transformation of the self, of in the kind of Abraham Maslow, the hierarchy of needs, from base needs of food and water, sex, etc., to peak experiences, counterculture, the idea of enlightenment, transcendental experiences whereby your true self, you get your true self, you find your true self, your chakras need aligned, etc., and the new ageism that goes along with which was very imbued within the mental health industry. And it's a godlessness, because it's completely anti-biblical. So, but in the notes there was a preacher that I'd heard discussing this, and he mentioned these passages, which I remembered which they were. But where is it? He talked about Moses when he was, he met Moses, spoke to God at the burning bush. He was called by God to lead the people of Israel away from the tyranny of from the Pharaoh. And he said, this gave a very good example. He said, this is verse 22, Exodus 4, chapter 4, verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, is it the one? No, hold on. I got the wrong one. Oh, the wrong one. It's chapter 3. Moses sees God in the burning bush. And he says, and Moses said unto God, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? This is chapter 3, verse 11. And he said, certainly I will be with thee. This is God. And this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee, when thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt. ye shall serve God upon this mountain. And it goes on to verse 14. And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. Now this is very important, because what this preacher, and I forgot his name, I'll put it in the link if I remember below. But it's like, God did not give Moses a course of CBT. Moses he was trembling. He didn't feel like he was up for the job of leading the people of Israel. He didn't feel up for the job. He had low confidence. He had doubts, probably low self-esteem that he really couldn't do this. And God just said, well, I'm with you. Now, related to the things I said in 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy, in the end times, this obsession with self-esteem, the pathologization of the self, etc., etc., etc. Where is the biblical wisdom there from Exodus when God spoke to Moses? I'll be with you. There's no 12 sessions. Come on, Moses, I'll take you in the wilderness. We'll do 12 sessions of CBT. I'll do some, humanistic, person-centered counselling for you. Get your self-esteem into order. No. I'll be with you. And have faith that I'll be with you. It's subtle, isn't it? It's very subtle. It's part of it. People say, well, because what God is instructing and trying to impart to Moses is the supernatural power of having faith in following God, having faith in God, and in Timothy in the New Testament, of giving your life over to Jesus Christ, and having faith in that. As Jesus' Sermon on the Mount in Matthew, when he talks about the bird of the air and the lily of the field, they do not want for anything. They don't tremble for fear of what's happening. They don't. It's used as a metaphor to show that human beings are they get into this very fallen state, because we are fallen beings, of worrying about ourselves and worrying about tomorrow, and being forgetful we're in the hand of God. And that's a supernatural thing. And the attack on Christianity in society at this moment is indicative of the people who are attacking it know the power of it. That's the interesting thing. An example, the conversion therapy debacle. The so-called ban on conversion practices, which is essentially a ban on fearless speech, free speech, and very other dubious cultural Marxist policies. But essentially, it was the fearless speech. I've lost my train of thought. But essentially, the prayer, because during the consultation period in the meetings at Holyrood, the woman was giving evidence saying that prayer was harmful, or some woman, I forgot her name, but she should say prayer was harmful. Prayer can be abusive. And of course, prayer When you pray to God, it is a supernatural activity. It's extremely, it's written all over the Bible, in the Bible, that praying, when you pray, you speak to God. He speaks to you. And so that is an extremely pivotal thing, an important point. Things that are going on in the world at the moment, many commentators are talking about signs of the end times and this attack on Christianity. Well, when you look at the attack on prayer, the stopping people praying outside of abortion centres, preachers being arrested for praying, very anti-Christian sentiments in society. The music industry, full of this obsession with self, celebration of self, this carnival, polymorphous, perverse carnival of giving in to your base desires. The Sam Smith videos, the rapper videos, etc., etc. They show a very distasteful side of existence, polymorphous perversity. And I think in a lot of government policies, you've got the sex education in schools, promoting pornography and various sexual practices. The idea of alternative relationships like polyamory, going away from traditional kind of marriage, one man, one woman thing. It's like it's attacking all these sort of these biblical ideas, and so and interestingly, the other video I made today about ethics, it's about loving, biblical idea of loving your neighbour. These psychologists who push these policies, unethically, illegal, which have harmed people, it's not very loving. Not very loving at all. And now they're protecting themselves by pretending to play dumb, that we didn't really know what we're doing. So they're lying. So we're living in rough times, but one has to stand like Jesus, like God said to Moses, I'm with you. Just relax. Doing any CBT, you don't need to build your confidence up. You don't need to do some 10 years of psychoanalysis. You don't need any Prozac. Just believe that I'm with you. So that's all I want to say about that. That was interesting. Bye then out.